You know, when this journey first began, you know it. I did not know where it was going to lead me. Another episode of a dose of
Get a
Nikki.
dose of Nick. If you ever felt down, you wanna be around. Get a dose of Nick. Get a dose of Nick. Get a dose of Nick. Get a dose of Nick.
Okay. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of A Dose of Nikki. Now, today, this is still part of a Metaphor of Life segment. Today, we're going to talk about facing adversity. Yeah, we're going to do that. That's what we're going to do. Now, did you really think you could get through a metaphor of life without having to face adversity? Did you ever really think that? I didn't think you thought that way. I never told you this gardening journey was all peachy and clean. I never told you that. Nope. You should have known that when I told you about my black thumb. So, hell, if you were listening. But anyway, the challenges are real. I'm going to start by saying that the challenges are real, and you know it. You can go from no seed sprouting, starting out with no seed. Like if you started from seedling, you put little seeds in the ground and you want it to grow into a beautiful plant or into a beautiful, garden or whatever. You think that from looking at TV, looking at other people's gardens and stuff. No seed sprouting to flower. You can go from that to growing runts with no bearing fruit. Like you might have planted some sort of tree with supposed to bear fruit, but it may have grown. The tree might have grown, but no fruits. And to the plant ultimately dying. Simple as that. Some plants begin looking weak and weird. Don't really grow one year and the next flourish. You have perennials, right? That's supposed to be the type of plants that grow back year after year, right? And then there's annuals, and those are only around for a period of time. They complete their life cycle in one growing season. Okay, so you have perennials and you have annuals. And if you are not aware of this, you might have an expectation that will not be fulfilled. Simple as that. You will be sadly disappointed. And so when I learned this, I said to myself, this is interesting. Perennials and annuals, and people just let that type of stuff just roll off their tongue. And I'm looking at them like they're speaking a different language because I didn't understand what they were talking about. So it's like setting yourself up for failure due to unawareness. And the same as life. Because we are unaware of things, we walk into challenges that are unpredictable. They're overwhelming. And they also can fester without understanding how to address, how to resolve the issue, or even work through it, or learn from the experience. You see what I'm saying? See, I have an issue with growing and maintaining succulent plants. Yeah, succulent. See, these are the plants with parts that are like thick and fleshy and engorged. Like that. What do you think of when I say that? An aloe vera plant. A snake plant. When I got the plants, they were thriving. I inherited those plants from someone. And they were thriving. Now, these were the two I needed. No, you know what? Correction. I inherited the aloe vera plant. The snake plant, I think I just got it confused with a spider plant, which is not a succulent plant, but the snake plant is. But anyway, the snake plant I bought myself. So I'll take that back. One I inherited, the other one I purchased myself. Now, however, when I got the two plants, they were thriving. Now, these were the two that I needed to add to my indoor collection for their air purifying qualities and And the second part is very important for us to follow now. Low maintenance. Remember, I need low maintenance plants, okay? So, let me take the so out. It's I guess I did not take heed to the low maintenance aspect, and I overwatered the snake plant. Yeah. You know what happened? The leaves began to get yellowish, and they started to droop. Now, what snake plant have you ever seen droop? I know I have never. When I've seen them in like restaurants and everything, they're like tall. They're always on the ground, and they're sticking straight up. You go into the big box stores, you see it, right? But mine, they were drooping. And eventually, all that was left were remnants of the skin. I had never seen anything quite like that before, but hello, it's me. Now, with the aloe plant, I think I leaned in heavily on the low maintenance portion of it. Low maintenance. Remember, I love that word, those two words, low maintenance. Yeah, that's me. But apparently, the indoor aloe plant does need to be watered regularly. I thought it didn't. However, it does. More so than the snake plant. So, you see how snake and aloe vera plants belong to the same succulent family. Yeah, the succulents. Yeah. But they need to be cared for differently. My failure to nurture these plants led to their demise, which was never my intention, but it happened. I wanted them to thrive and succeed. I was looking forward to that. I needed them to do that because remember, they were adding to my collection of plants that provided purifying qualities. So you need that in your home. There's about 5 plants, but we can get into that later. But those are the 2. They need to be in there for the air purifying aspect of them. So anyway, that was that. It just simply wasn't meant to be at that time. So, however, I did decide I was going to take another stab at this. I was. And the way I was going to do it, I was going to go and get a new aloe and snake plant, armed with the knowledge, awareness. Remember, awareness is key on how to properly care for them this time around. Now, that process of failing actually became a confidence booster for me. Oh yeah, because it made me like, oh wait a minute now, they died. Why? I need them, and I want them to survive. So how do I make that happen, right? And that's the same thing. Same goes for us. If something happens to us, we want to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Especially something bad happens to us, we want good to happen to us. So we try to research and determine what will work best to make sure we satisfy that goal, right? And so this experience mirrors the dynamics of like siblings growing up in a family with the same mother and same father and everything, but each sibling may receive the different levels of support and nurturing, which shapes who they become. We become if you're siblings, right? Why? I know you're like, what? But why? Because we are all unique individuals, right? Okay. And the challenges we face reflect that diversity. I'm going to let you sit on that one. Yeah. Yep. I always talk about the uniqueness, right? You're unique. I'm unique. I'm different from you. We could have the same mother and father, but I'm a different human being. And so therefore, the challenges that we face reflect the difference, the uniqueness, the diversity. When we encounter difficulties in life, right, those challenges can look different depending on the circumstances. Be it our friends, our siblings, co-workers, whatever. Each person addresses their issues in their own way. You ever sit there and you're like, now why would they do that? Because they're different from you. They're going to do it their way. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means that it's different. Some people are more resilient. Others are strategic or patient. Ultimately, it's how we respond to these challenges that matters, and awareness is key. So I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to leave you to think about this. And until next time, I'm thanking you, and thanking you for joining me today on A Dose of Nikki. And I hope this episode inspires you to nurture your own growth. Just as we explored our experiences, whether with plants or in life, shapes us. Let's keep the conversation going. Because every challenge we face is an opportunity to learn and thrive. Until next time, stay fab, keep growing, and be well, my friends. Be well. If you enjoyed this episode, join us next week for another insightful conversation. Take care and happy gardening.
Do you love me? We can run through. You were was a pound, we get on tour. Get a best bitch running the door. Keep it on me, I'm a thumbo. If I ever was a pound, I'm a thumbo. Like 2 o'clock, hit him with a thumbs so. Baby said she love me, I'm a no more. Make it bad for bitch bad, and she knock it.